Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 260-something. Wait, my thing? 64? 264? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Where's my folder? My folder tells me all. Comic Conspiracy episode 264 for the week of June 7th, 2016. Sorry. We're on our new laptop. Everything tested. Should work fine. Which means it'll sound like shit when this recording comes out. Hopefully not. Hopefully this sounds perfectly normal. My name's Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
And Charlie.
Toby, is your mic on?
Nope.
There you go. Try that one more time.
Toby is here.
There you go. Toby, what's happening?
Hey.
We got some stuff to talk about this week?
Yeah, what we do.
I would hope so. I showed up here for a reason.
No, I mean, do we ever really have anything to talk about? I mean, we talk, but do we actually say anything? I don't think so.
We fly by the seat of our pants, and we like it.
We're going to discuss a couple TV shows. We have a lot of TV shows. A lot of TV shows happened while I was gone, and now I must
catch up.
Talk about those TV shows and catch up.
Now we
with
try
them.
not to spoil stuff for you for at least another week.
Oh yeah, so the big one is Flash, and I have already seen the spoiler, but
Well, which one did you see so we know what not to talk about?
I saw a man standing in a costume.
Yeah, there's other things to spoil.
Okay, that's fine. I know nothing else. Nothing else.
We'll talk about Flash when you're done watching.
That's fine. That's fine. But I've been able to catch up on Game of Thrones, Preacher, and Legends of Tomorrow, which we're going to talk about tonight. I have one episode left of Arrow, and that show's getting a lot of hate, but it kind of escalated quickly, if you will. But
I mean, Arrow. I think comparing it to Flash, it's not the same, but I like the pacing of Arrow. I feel it's what it should be for the show.
I feel like these last couple episodes, maybe because I watched them
back to
back, they sort of worked maybe slightly better. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I
got two left to watch.
I think it was rough for a while there. It was definitely rough for a while. So
well, I mean, out of all the shows those guys are producing at this point, Arrow is sort of the lowest on the totem pole for me, but it's still good.
Now, I will say this about what I've seen of Arrow. They seriously need to just bring Constantine back. I mean, just...
Maybe they will.
Jesus.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, I am now definitely going to Heroes and Villains because Matt Ryan is going to be there.
Yeah, I might have to go.
So
I didn't know they added him.
Yep, now I am very, very excited to go there. So
when you go to buy your tickets, give me a call.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different... Well, I mean, just buy your tickets whenever you buy your tickets. But there's a lot of... There's a lot of cool guests that are going to be there, so I can fill up my Flash poster a little bit. I get to throw a few more people on that list. Mm-hmm. Nissa is going to be there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lord's going to be there, right, Toby?
Mm-hmm.
Who else is going to be there? Paul Blackthorne, who's Canary's dad. He's going to be there because I missed him. He was there last time, but I missed him at the thing. Who else is going to be there? There's a few other people. There's at least one other Arrow person I missed the last time. Can't remember who it was, or that wasn't there last time besides them. But Matt Ryan will be on that poster, on my Arrow poster. I'm going to get him to sign out. So
you're gonna have him put a little peacock logo.
maybe. So very excited for that. But let's talk about a couple of the ones that I have finished. Let's start, since we're talking about Arrow. Let's start with Legends of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Again, I think a show that had some issues when it started, but I feel that by the end, I think they kind of figured themselves out a little bit.
Yeah.
Toby's giving me the maybe look.
No, the not really look, but I like the guys and I like the people behind it, so I don't like to buy them off the show, but I haven't enjoyed the show in a while.
It got a little strange. Like it felt like they had a good kind of progression at the beginning, but then it got a little strange in the middle. They didn't quite know where they were going. I felt like the people writing the show didn't understand science fiction or time travel or superheroes. There was some real weird stuff. I liked the episodes, but they didn't work as like a whole within the show. But I feel, again, towards the end of the season, the last couple episodes, I thought, okay, you guys, you figured out your plot, you figured out how to write this show. And that last episode, when they're going back to all the previous episodes and kind of like Back to the Future 2 style, like I was like, okay, you've sold me. You guys, you might have had some stumbles that had the first 2/3 of the season, but I think they picked it up in the back end. I
guess for me, the turning point of the show was the Kronos reveal.
Yeah, that was good.
Like that,
I like
that for me, everything after that got.
Oh, I didn't realize we were talking about Legends now.
What? Yeah.
No, I thought we were still in Arrow.
No, Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of the back half of that, or especially the finale?
I liked the very end of it.
Yeah,
I couldn't stand the middle of it.
No, it was not.
Yeah, no,
it didn't make
but
a lot of sense.
No, I didn't quite like the middle all the way till literally the end. The very last episode, really like wanted me back over.
I thought the last 2 episodes, because I watched them back to back, I thought they were both pretty good. But the last episode was the best episode of the season. Yeah, I think by far, which is. That sucks. It shouldn't be the last episode of the season. The last episode is the best.
I wonder if the one villain thing hurt the show, because you kind of get shoehorned into one storyline for the entire how many episodes they had.
The one villain hurt it because they had to keep sort of working him in different ways. Yeah, and it just kind of it got dragged on, I feel like. But I'm glad it's over. I'm looking forward to next season.
Yeah, I don't know that it... I mean, it.
My favorite part is Captain Cole and Canary.
No, they were.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh man! Yeah. That I'm totally for. And Captain Cold is a total badass.
Well, he's not going to be in the next season, so
he's still going to be in the univerce, though. He signed a big contract.
Yeah, I'll be curious what they're going to do, because they kill him, quote unquote, but he's coming back. So he's going to be somewhere.
Yeah,
I think the whole plot with Vandal Savage, where they're going through time and they keep trying to stop him, it's a great plot. But again, I think they got stuck, and I feel like we talked about this in earlier episodes. They got stuck within their own device that you've written yourself with such a powerful machine, the Wave Rider being able to travel through time and space. You could have stopped Vandal Savage at literally any point that they ran into him. So it's hard to buy into the fiction they're trying to spin within the show. But that said, when they get to the end, Charlie, actually, this was apropos to what we were talking about earlier in Star Trek The Next Generation, right? They pull a total all good things next-gen finale and attack him at 3 different points in time to stop this one. I was like, oh, this is just that next-gen episode. Cool. So, I thought if you're going to rip something off, rip off one of the best moments of science fiction television. So, I like the finale a lot. So, me
too.
We didn't get into the very end of the finale, but Brock, what's your
I mean, overall, I think the middle of it dragged a little bit, but it was just a fun show to watch. It was nice to see kind of them, dealing with time travel. It was great to see Jonah Hex.
Well, even if the plots didn't make the most sense, the characters were all fantastic.
Yeah. So it's...
And Firestorm finally got to be Firestorm at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, last episode.
But, I think... overall, it was fun. Like, if people thought Arrow was too slow this season and Flash was amazing, DC Legends would fit in the middle. But, the finale was great. I mean, Snart, at the end, I was a little irritated at that, but I was like, he'll be back somehow. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was very happy to see Firestorm actually have Firestorm powers and use transmutation. Yeah. But the very end, Wave Rider goes away, Wave Rider comes back.
I was like, is this Back to the Future?
Yeah. We gotta go back.
We gotta go back. What?
And he steps out, but Rex Tyler, our man, or a kind of modern looking Hour Man, but that's fine.
Cool costume though.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, it looks fine. The big robot costume or the old school Iron Man costume. I don't think either of those would translate very well to film. But he didn't even beat around the bush. He's like, I need your help. We're from the Justice Society of America, right? Yeah. They're not even like trying to codename it or make it something. No, just Justice Society of America. Yeah. Like there we are. So,
which is cool.
Yeah.
Because they have a few of them already.
Well, in the Wave Rider, right, there's all those All the things in there are from the JSA.
Yeah.
All the little trinkets that Rip has in his room are all from the different JSA members. So that is, I was hoping to do something with the JSA, and here we go. And I think this is a good opportunity for them to go to one time period and stay there.
Yeah.
They can go to the 40s and just stay there the entire season.
This is where I say it's just too bad you haven't watched Flash yet.
Yeah, I like today and tomorrow I'm gonna watch it. So I've watched a lot of TV in this last week for what I normally watch in a week. I have, and there's a lot more to watch. But yeah, I know there's another member of the JSA already out there.
Yes.
So, but I'm excited to see where they go with that. Final thoughts. Legends?
I mean, I'm excited for season 2. So, I think it ended on a good note. It ended with closure for the first season, and for you curious about going into season 2.
I guess for me, I'm very excited to see where they go with it, but I'm even more excited to see what new characters they bring into it.
The JSA.
Well, but even beyond the JSA, they did work out some members of the crew at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And there were, even when the show first started, there were all sorts of rumors about how season 2 would have at least somewhat of a different cast. Yep. And there was even reports at one point that they were considering bringing Constantine onto that show. So
right.
I like the idea of a show like that you can work out cast members so you can make room for other DC characters to have a chance.
Well, I think it's fantastic because you could just roll them into the regular shows, but have part-timers and use some of them as regulars for a while.
Vixen is a perfect character that they could rope into.
Oh, they could totally,
absolutely.
If she's not going to be a regular on Arrow. Yeah, there's a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
So.
Booster Gold.
Yeah,
Bring
I love that.
Booster Gold into the CW universe.
I don't even remember if we talked about this last week, but while I was gone, they officially moved Supergirl to CW.
Yeah.
And there's already talks of a 4-part crossover between all 4 shows. Because Supergirl's going to be Monday, Flash is Tuesday, Arrow's Wednesday, and Legends is Thursday.
Now, in perfect world, we can Constantine back on Friday.
Friday?
Right?
Yeah, give it back his old time, time slot. Or move it to 9 o'clock.
Maybe they just say fuck it and do Justice League Dark.
Yeah, they could. Well,
they announced the animated.
Movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're doing the animated.
So yesterday, I apparently missed this announcement because I got 3 calls of people being like, "Do you have any Justice League Dark comics?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then it kind of came out of nowhere. And then I saw, "Oh, hey, animated movie." Okay, that makes sense.
Did you see the news that the new villain for Arrow next season is going to be based on Stringer Bell from The Wire?
No.
Fuck yeah!
It's weird.
One of the best characters off The Wire show.
Wonder who would it be?
I don't know. But it's Idris Elba's role in The Wire. His character.
Yeah. But they also said that they wanted somebody with a physical build like Jason Momoa. So it's supposed to be this big, imposing guy with...
That's going to be Blockbuster.
It totally could be Blockbuster. Yeah.
The Fearsome Five.
Yeah, that's Outsiders, but they could. I mean, they have Katana. They could roll in some Brockwood.
God, every single episode they're like Markovia. I'm like, God damn it, just give me Geoforce.
They could roll in the Outsiders and have Blockbuster be the big bad. So
they also announced Superman going to be on Supergirl.
Yep. And then for the first 2 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, they already said which ones?
I think that's what they were saying that he's going to be on
That's
the
what
first
the reports were indicating.
Yeah.
Well, I think that DC is finally going, oh, we can have TV characters and we can have movie.
I have a slight suspicion this is Jeff Johns going, he gave me power. I'll make shit happen.
Well, he's in DC films, but yes, I also believe this.
Yeah.
Get every, to me, it's cool to have him on
come on, I mean,
networks.
if you got JSA in the final episode of Legends, this is Jeff Johns all written all over it.
And then Supergirl season 2 could be about the Legion. Because the second, the minute the show started, I said, yeah, the season 1's going to be great. Season 2 could be about the Legion, though, right? The Legion, right? And then they had the Legion ring when they go to the Fortress of Solitude. So, yes, come on. Need my Legion. Well, let's talk about another show. Now, if you're Bryce Larson, listener of this podcast, occasional friend and occasional person that talks on this podcast, you will no doubt be rolling your eyes at all this DC positivity that we consistently give out on this podcast right now about these mediocre shows on the CW for babies that we love, all the comic books that we love. Let's talk about a DC thing that at least two of us at this table kind of hate right now.
Yep.
And that's Preacher.
Yeah.
See, I always...
Did you guys seen Preacher?
I
You guys
never
watch Preacher
call that
yet?
a DC property. Vertigo is always a separate entity to me.
It's DC.
I know, but it's not DC like Superman, Batman DC. It's Vertigo is Vertigo to me, even though DC publishes it.
It's DC. So, Preacher, Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon comic book. One of my personal favorite comics of all time.
It's either on people's top 5 or top 10 lists normally.
It's on most people's top 2 lists. Very, very popular comic from the mid-late 90s. Vertigo, 66 issues and some specials. Long rumored to be a movie, long rumored to be a TV show.
Well, it was even had casting around the movie and just got stuck in development hell. And
finally got picked up by AMC and Seth Rogen, of all people, going to bat for the show. And
love Scarface.
Yeah, and directing the first 2 episodes at least. I don't know past that. Producing it. Isn't he even going to be in an or was he in the back?
He's doing The Boys too.
Oh, is he actually doing it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
They're supposedly trying to make it work.
Yeah.
So who knows if it ever gets done?
Right.
But they're working on it.
So I was a little cautious.
Well, we all watched the trailer and was kind of...
Well, before that, before the trailer, you can adapt superhero stuff and you can do whatever you want with them, right? Because there's a billion...
Everybody has their own take on it.
Yeah, and there's billions of stories and it doesn't matter. Preacher is Preacher. It's one book. Yeah. It's one story. Even Walking Dead, that world is so big that you can veer from it and change things up. And there's so many untold stories in the Walking Dead world. Mm-hmm. Preacher, though, is really a very straightforward, start to finish. I mean, you could do before Preacher if you wanted to, and do backgrounds on the characters, or you could go more into Saint of Killers, or you could go more into all the characters if you really want to.
I'm hoping for some TV movies for basically the mini series.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do, but a little cautious. First trailer hits a couple months back, right?
Yeah, I think it was a few months back, it was a while ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago or so. Yeah. At least people I knew, pretty tepid response. Didn't feel like Preacher, but
I couldn't understand that first trailer.
Yeah, it was weird. Give it the benefit of the doubt. Watch it. South by Southwest is where it premiered. Incredible reviews, rave reviews. Everyone said they love it. I knew a few people there, big fans of the comic. They all said it felt just like the comic, totally great. I mean, different. It makes changes, but they were totally hyped on it. All right, I'm in. Very excited for Preacher. So watch the pilot and watch the last episode, which aired last night after Game of Thrones. Or I watched it after I watched Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's not Preacher in any way, shape, or form. Barely. The most surface level take of Preacher. The plot is completely different. The plot of these 2 episodes versus the plot of anything that happens in any issue of Preacher is completely different.
Yeah, I've only seen episode 1, so...
The characters are... Let's start with Jesse. So, let me grab these actual people's names so I can talk about him. Because he's... the guy that plays Jesse is... he's Stark. Howard Stark. Howard Stark. Yeah, sorry. Not Ned Stark.
No, he couldn't be Ned Stark.
Yeah. So... Again, good casting. I like the actor. He looks great, right? I think he looks dead on. I like him. Mm-hmm. But this, Dominic Cooper. But this isn't Jesse Custer.
The Jesse Custer that he plays in the show is a shitty preacher, and Jesse Custer is not a shitty preacher. In the comic book, he's a good preacher.
He was. He was at one point.
Yeah,
and just due to his life and his relatives, especially in the first arc, this shit town that he lives in, he's drunken himself into a stupor, right?
Well, this is in the show.
This isn't the comic, and and no longer. He is a good preacher, but doesn't care anymore, right?
Yeah.
In this, he's a shitty preacher who, I guess, learns to care in the first episode. But of course, the biggest change is the reason he goes on this adventure in the Preacher comic is because the child, this demon
Genesis
angel,
entity.
the Genesis,
It's the description is it's a comet with a baby face.
blows up his
Congregation.
church and kills everyone there. And he's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
He finds out all this stuff about God quitting. He's talking to the angels, and he goes off on this adventure to find God, right?
Yeah. Punch him in the
Literally
face.
nothing like this happens in the first 2 episodes. I mean, it completely changes the plot of this show to have nothing to do with the comic.
Did you watch
So-
The Talking Preacher?
No.
Because they're saying this is kind of like before all that.
I mean, if in episode 3 the baby explodes, kills literally every single person on this show, then maybe. But that's not where we are.
I mean, that's just what they
So-
say.
Yeah.
Look, this is coming from a guy that sold a shitload of Preacher comics. Never read any of it because I didn't like the art. I
Steve
tried.
Dillon.
I tried.
my boy.
I really don't like his art. I'm sorry. I mean, I tried, but I never got into the comic. I sold a shitload
Yeah.
in the mid '90s of it.
Yeah.
But I found a pilot. I only watched a pilot so far. I found it a little slow, a little boring.
Very boring.
Yeah, but I watched Talking's Preacher just to understand it a little bit more because I have no idea. I didn't even know the Cassidy was a vampire.
Yeah,
I didn't get it. I'm like, it was not until they started talking about it, like, oh yeah, that makes sense now.
Yeah,
but watching the show, I was like, what the hell is he doing? But they're saying on Talking Preacher that they're taking it earlier. The show is starting before the books is.
Then he shouldn't be merged with Genesis.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
again, you're talking to a guy that didn't
Sure,
read the books, right?
sure,
so I have no idea. So I'm
Sure.
like, okay.
well, if I recall, and it's been a long time since I read Preacher, but if I recall,
It has been a while
opens-
since I've read it, so I need to go back and reread it. But I flipped through the first
but-
trade to verify.
Yeah, things
doesn't,
are out of
the
order,
first
that's for
trade
sure.
basically open with his merger with
Yeah.
Genesis?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's right away.
The first issue is
Yeah.
Jesse, Cassidy, and Tulip sitting down at a diner discussing what the hell happened
Well,
in context of him getting possessed by the entity.
but it's not just the
blowing
first
up.
episode. The second episode too. He's just bumming around this town. He's like, "Well, I'm going to be a good preacher now, so I'm going to try to what crime am I going to fight today?" Like it's set up like a weird
vigilante thing?
like procedural or something.
Oh,
It's
God.
like it has nothing to do with Preacher. So let's move on from Dominic Cooper real quick because I think he does okay for what he does. He's a little boring, but
So funny, as a guy that
okay.
never read Preacher, so take this with a grain of salt.
yeah. What do you think?
I actually didn't expect Jesse to be like that at all. I like Dominic in his other work,
Yeah.
and I like him as an actor, but when I expected to watch Preacher, for some reason, that's not what I expected. Even though I didn't read the book, so take this with a grain of salt. I just expected something a little more grittier, not as baby-faced, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he definitely is. I mean,
He's a little too pretty for me.
Jesse Custer's kind of a I don't say an asshole, but he's kind of an asshole in the
Yeah.
comic, right? I mean, he's kind of a not I would say a bad guy, but a very conflicted guy.
Yeah.
In the first 2 episodes, he's kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't expect... I expected something else.
Yeah,
So-
it's a real weird take. So, if there's something I have less complaints about, not no complaints, but less complaints.
Cassidy?
It's, Joseph Gilligan, Cassidy. He's close to the comic.
He's the only enjoyment I found in the show for now.
Yeah. It's not exact, which is fine, but it's similar. They're kind of giving you stuff with him being hunted. That's like later in the comic. So they're kind of moving that forward, but that's fine. You get a reason for him to be around. It's fine. It's tough because in the comic, a big thing is he never takes his sunglasses off, and you never see his eyes till like the last issue or second to last issue or something. I know you can't do that in a show. Fine. So they have him. He has his glasses on a lot, but he doesn't have like normal eyes, right? I mean, that's the whole problem. So
Didn't he also
Whatever.
know Jesse from like way back? Like it wasn't a recent encounter in the comic?
I don't think so.
No, I think he met Jesse when Jesse was a bad boy. I think he just met him. It wasn't like they had a...
Maybe because I
I don't remember him like first encountering him right before. Well, right after he got Genesis or what? Like
he encountered him after Genesis.
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, not before.
Yeah.
Like if he met him before he was a preacher in his bad boy days.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I thought.
It's later in this. It's later in the arc
That's
where he.
but he
Well,
doesn't.
no, but I thought he already knew him at this. Basically, I thought they had more of a history in the comic than they seem to in the show.
I don't remember that. I mean, it's possible, but again, it's been a while since I read Preacher, so I really do want to go back and reread it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the absolute.
Yeah.
which are coming out.
But Cassidy's fine.
It takes a little getting used to with the accent and the talking.
Fortunately, I was just in London and Dublin, so I'm already accustomed to it.
But isn't he supposed to be Irish anyways?
Yeah, he's Irish.
Yeah.
The actor's British, but he
He did it pretty well.
Yeah, no.
I think a pretty decent Irish accent. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did fine.
I was just really confused with him in the show. Like, what is he doing? He's killing people. All right, now he has his guts open, but next scene he's fine.
Those guys are basically is that Grail, right? They're like hunting vampires.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole like society of vampires that
Yeah, I
works
didn't
with.
get any
Yeah,
of that.
Yeah. So let's move on to Tulip. Ruth Nega, Nega, right? Naga. If you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's the woman in the flower dress.
Yeah, you go from flower dress to tulip, man.
Yeah. If there is... So when I watched the pilot, right, I was like, wow, Tulip is the worst character on this show by far. Mm-hmm. And Leanne, I think, was looking online. She's like, oh, isn't this the girl from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. That explains why she's terrible. Absolutely. Not Tulip. I don't care if you don't look like Tulip. Whatever. She doesn't act like Tulip. That's not Tulip.
No.
She's a terrible actress. The character on this show is terrible. And I don't know if, like, Seth Rogen just can't put the bong down or something like that. But I don't know what's up all these weird, like, claim, like, the cardboard cutout, like, opening, and then all these weird, like, wannabe, like, Quentin Tarantino shots that he does with Tulip. The whole thing where she puts the kids in the basement.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a bunch of weird scenes with Tulip. Man, I really want other people... I want to see what other people do with this show once he's done directing these first couple episodes, because she's unbearable.
Well, so when I started watching the pilot and she came on, I was like, okay. And then about 30 seconds into watching her character, I was like, this isn't Tulip.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And
Not at all.
now part of it, I'm like, this could be Tulip, but it's not. She's a badass, but she's not this much of a badass in the comic.
Right.
And she kind of builds on that as she goes in the comic book. So towards the end, I can see that as kind of Tulip at the end of the Preacher comic. But there's no way she's like this out the gate.
No. And not only that, it's Tulip doesn't, in the comics, she doesn't sort of revel in this. Mm-hmm. She does it, but it's a dirty job.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, like, she's miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seems like she likes this in the show. And again, this is not Tulip at all.
The character doesn't even feel like she's from Texas. Like, it doesn't.
I don't know why she even has an accent.
It doesn't even. The Tulip character in this doesn't even feel like she fits where she is. Like, I mean, maybe she fits in some Brazilian spy movie or something, but she doesn't fit in this instance. I can't even imagine her being, living in Texas. Like, why are you even in here? Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, recast was all I was thinking in my head as every time I saw her.
Redo the first two episodes. There was, especially in the second episode, there's a pretty cool, Cassidy is a pretty cool fight scene, and it's like, okay, but where are the angels? Where is, I mean, the entire plot of the comic, the entire point has not been brought up in the first two episodes.
Yeah.
So, if it's coming...
Maybe they're doing the Marvel Netflix thing where the entire first season is leading up to that scene.
So
I'm making fun of it now, but wait and watch. It could be the season ender.
If this entire season,
the beginning of the book.
If this entire season is him sitting in this town trying to stop this fucking child molester this in the second episode, or just random podunk villains. I don't know. I don't know what they do. It's real bad. It's real bad to start. Like, if this was a completely separate thing that was just its own thing, okay, maybe, right? Yeah. Sure. I mean, I'm not saying this is the worst show I've ever seen, but it is not Preacher in any way, shape, or form.
As I said, it's been a long time since I've read Preacher, but I think my main issue with a lot of it, and I've only watched the pilot so far, so I can't speak to the second episode, but the pacing just seemed wrong.
It picks completely up a little bit in the second, but not enough. Not enough. And if they're just dragging their ass 4 episodes till they introduce the plot, like that's a big problem.
How long is the season?
I don't know.
Isn't it
10 episodes, 13
episodes?
Are you
sure? Because normally AMC does 6
episodes
for their first season.
No clue.
Yeah, but AMC has money now.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, the thing,
no doubt.
This is so one thing I did enjoy in the pilot was Arseface.
I think he was as close to the comic as you could probably get. Someone had a great idea. One of my friends was like, yeah, they really should have just done that sort of like Peanuts adult voice, and you could not understand, or Gollum or whatever, and you could not understand him at all, and then just have subtitles. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, I get that.
Well, Arseface character, I enjoyed. Like, it was like he felt like the only real character that came from Preacher, besides maybe Cassidy to an extent.
To an extent, yeah. No, I think Arseface, again, they do as good as they can with that.
And then one thing that I could not. Well, another thing I enjoyed was the news report that Tom Cruise is dead.
That was kind of funny.
And I didn't even mind that, like the Genesis entity going to different faiths and trying to inhabit, the preacher, the minister, or the head of, like, I didn't.
They didn't do that in the comic either.
No. But I didn't mind that in the show because that kind of shows the Genesis entity is searching for something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the way they explain it on Talking Preacher was that Jesse just had enough dark in him as well as good, and that's why he was able to contain the Genesis. I don't know if that's how it is in the books.
The thing is in the books, the Genesis entity is the offspring of a demon and an angel having sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So it's a power sperm flying through space.
So they have the baby, and the baby is more powerful than God because it's like pure light and darkness. And so God goes, "Peace, I'm out," and God takes off, and all the angels are like, "What the fuck?" I mean, they swear left and right. It's really funny. Yeah. And so when the baby merges with Jesse, his whole thing is he knows that God's he's able to kind of divine this that God is left, and he's like, "Hey, not only did God leave me in my life,
he left everybody.
He literally has left."
Yeah.
So
Jesse is both the demon.
Yeah, and he has the voice of God. So the word of God.
And now that pissed me off.
What?
The word of God usage in this, with him telling the guy to go open his heart to his mother, and I'm like, what is this? Is this Raiders of the Lost Ark? I'm like, the guy would be dead before he even had a chance to pull it out of himself.
Well, I mean,
either way, that's television.
But to me it was like
it was
the really first time in Preacher that you get that it's the word of God, right, is when he tells the sheriff to go fuck himself.
Well, but they do. He does it a few times, but it's
very oddly, all the stuff you're saying right now, I just wish was in the first episode. Yeah, I would have been very happy because I am actually kind of curious about the story. I just couldn't get through the art in the book back then. Maybe I can do it now, but back then I couldn't get. I would watch this. I would absolutely watch this as a TV show.
Yeah, if they had stuck to the pacing of the book, it would have.
Yeah,
because hit the ground running.
Yeah, if the first episode ended with all the stuff you just told me, I'm like, I would be totally on board with the show.
The show
now.
Should have opened with a bunch of angels walking around in heaven, swearing. I mean, that's how the show should have opened, right? And just being like, "Oh fuck, where's God? Oh fuck, he's gone. Oh my god!" And then you see the merging and the blow. I mean, again, they should if they blow up that church next episode and kill 80% of the cast.
Yeah,
then okay, let's go. Right?
Season ender, man. I'm telling you.
Again, if it's already merged with him, that doesn't make sense.
I don't care. Just blow up everyone. Blow up.
It had to grow a little bit in Jesse's little belly.
kill everyone except for Jesse, Cassidy, and Arseface, and you're complete. Kill Tulip, and he can run into another girl he knew named Tulip in the other block, and just go with a
Tulip on the other block.
Just another girl named Tulip. And he's like, oh yeah, you're Tulip. You're also an assassin. Let's go. And it's just like it's a completely different. I'm so disappointed. You know, like Lucifer is nothing like the comic book.
No,
but again, they took an interesting. They took up the plot, and they did something.
They took the idea that Lucifer is no longer ruling hell. That's the whole point of the Lucifer book.
Like Preacher again, you took the loose plot.
Yeah.
You did your own thing with it, but it's like it's so different. And it's so just trying to be its own story, and not it's Lucifer. There is a long running Lucifer series, but it's not like Preacher. Lucifer is a third offshoot from a thing that kind of went off on its own, and it comes from other places, and he appeared in other places. So it's not quite he's not Batman, but I don't count the Lucifer story, the Mike Carey run, as like. This is the only take on the character.
Yeah.
It's also he's Lucifer, so he could be anything. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be based on DC.
The thing is
that
you and I have discussed this, and it's come up before. Is that shows like Game of Thrones, shows like Walking Dead, they embody the essence of the source material. Mm-hmm. Even if they deviate from
sometimes they're word for word, scene for scene. Sometimes they deviate. It's going to happen, though. That's fine. That's totally fine.
But they maintain the essence of what it came from the source material. Preacher does not contain the essence.
I don't feel.
At all.
I don't feel it.
And, I can understand them, kind of...
Oh, and it looks like 10 episodes for the first season.
Right. And I can kind of see them... All right, we're going to just do it in Texas. They're not going to travel around very much. I understand the practicalities of all that.
Well, they're already building like the meat plant. All right.
Well, we've already been in it.
In it.
Yeah, the slaughterhouse where that chick was. He was talking to that woman who was supposed to getting beat.
Well, like
that's the meat factory.
The meat guy stuff is already kind of being slowly introduced, which is until way later in the series.
That's not even until Salvation,
and not even where he is, right? Yeah. It's way in some other area. And your buddy Mitch asked me a question. We might as well talk about here. Yeah. They in the second episode they potentially introduced Santa Killers.
Yeah.
And again, it's like what? Like this is a weird backstory. This isn't Santa Killer at all. So I don't know. Yeah. It's real weird. I'm going to give it the first season, obviously. I mean, but it needs to make some drastic changes because it's just not. It's not Preacher.
No.
So
it was. I mean, watching that first episode was very disappointing.
Yeah. Who's got their thinking caps on? While I was gone, the April 2016 comic book sales figures came out via Diamond Comics, and actually, I think next week the May ones come out. But let's.
Are we playing the game?
Let's play our little guessing game. Do you guys cheat? You cheat like you always cheat, Brock? You fucking cheater?
I don't fucking cheat. I'm here all the time.
What? You have the internet. You can cheat. What is the top 10 comics of April 2016? Comics sold to North American comics shops. Physical copies sold to them by Diamond Comics Distribution.
So let's just knock off the Star Wars stuff
let's just knock
first.
Off like Star Wars and Darth Vader.
Star Wars Poe Dameron issue number 1 at 175,000 copies. That's number 2. Star Wars C-3PO special at 120,000 copies. That's number 4. Both of those did have store exclusive variant covers as well, so that explains higher amounts.
Yep.
Star Wars number 18 at 98,000 copies is number 7. Darth Vader number 19 at 76,000 copies is number 8. And that's 4 of the top 10 is Star Wars.
Okay, is Amazing Spider-Man on there?
Amazing Spider-Man number 10 at 73,000 copies is the number 10 comic. And our numbers, personally at the store, of Amazing Spider-Man have dropped significantly in recent months. Hasn't quite fallen out of the top 10 yet, which is surprising. I wonder if that's just
Justice League is on there?
No, not in the top 10.
Did they
It's number 11.
Oh, okay. Batman on there?
Batman number 51 at 101,000 copies. Number 5. And technically, it's also Batman Dark Knight 3, Master Race number 4 at 143,000 copies. That's number 3. So you have number 2. 2 is Poe Dameron, 3 is Dark Knight, 4 is C-3PO, 5 is Batman, 7 is Star Wars, 8 is Vader, 10 is Spider-Man. You're missing number 9.
And number 1, apparently.
Well, I'll go up. Missing number 9. It's a popular character. It's got a movie coming up in a couple months. Just announced another spin-off movie. Notice how I'm not using pronouns.
Suicide Squad?
Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad, April Fool's special. Jim Lee artwork.
There you go.
And the first Rebirth title, really, right?
Yeah.
This is true.
That's very true.
75,000 copies, the number 9 spot on the list. So we got 8, we got 7, we got number 6. At 100,000 copies, issue number 1. If I could throw Who Framed Roger Rabbit dip on a character to completely destroy them forever so they never exist and I never would have to deal with this character again, it would be this character.
Speedball?
No. I didn't say make sweet love to. I said destroy from reality.
Is it a Deadpool comic?
You're close.
Is it a Spider-Man and Deadpool comic?
Is it Gwenpool?
It's Gwenpool number 1. Gwenpool number 1 at 100,000 copies.
So
I hope you choke on them.
We've established that
Industry.
if Harley Quinn is the Deadpool of the DC universe, then Gwenpool is the Harley Quinn of the Marvel universe.
Gwenpool is
the Harley.
Gwenpool is the Harley Quinn of the DC universe of the Deadpool of the Marvel universe.
She's got a hammer on the
So we have
cover.
10, we have 9, we have 8,
2.
we have 7, we have 6, we have 5, we have 4, we have 3, we have 2. What's number 1, guys? Movie just came out.
Yeah, I know. Civil War 0?
Nope. That'd be May.
Oh, okay, so those are May.
Movie coming out.
Black Panther?
Black Panther number 1 at 253,000 copies. Now,
That's a lot of fucking copies.
That's a lot of
there's a lot of books. I don't know how it got to that number. I'm assuming there was a lot of store exclusive variants. I didn't actually look into it for that one.
I think there was just a lot of variants for that.
There was a lot of variants. So, don't get me wrong, Black Panther sold very well here. We ordered a lot of copies. There were a lot of people asking for it. We still have some Marvel number 1s to do catch-up talk on. I don't remember if we must. No, I think we covered Black Panther already.
I don't remember.
I thought it was very mediocre.
Yeah, it was.
And I thought number 2 was very mediocre.
Yeah,
and now number 3 is running late. So, there we go.
Ryan is back on the podcast after the weird DC hating on Preacher. He's back on track.
I thought Black Panther was very mediocre.
That first
It's
issue.
the best Black Panther comic we've had in like a decade. I'll give it that.
It's the only Black Panther we had in a
No.
decade.
Really?
Yeah.
You might have blocked them out of your mind, but we've had Black Panther comics pretty consecutively since the Priest run ended.
Wait.
And they've all been shit.
So it's the whole with the Storm stuff.
Yeah.
And it was J. Scott Campbell covers on those.
Yeah, there was
Only
some
one.
real bad Black Panther comics. So
That's okay. I like the way they used him in some of the Avengers stuff.
yeah, sure. I like Black Panther as a character a ton.
Yeah, the Priest run is all I remember.
Yeah,
And he's apparently really good in Ultimates.
he is. Ultimates is
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah. Ultimates is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So great character. Just again, the book was fine. Is it 250,000 copies? Fine. I expect by number 4 or 5 that number will be. 40, 50,000. Sure.
Reading it, I could tell this was not a writer that had written too many comics before. Because
any comics before, which is fine. Which is fine. That's great. I mean, he's a journalist. He's a novelist as well, coming over to do some comics. Totally cool.
We had some hype when he got into this book.
Well, and that's why it sold 250,000 copies. Yeah. But there will not be. These numbers will not maintain past issue 2. The book just. Our sales on number 2 were not great. So, again, just one store, but I expect. I want every book to succeed. But when they launch like this, those numbers are going to plummet.
That drop's going to be harsh.
Yeah, because we're actually end of every month we're going to do our Rebirth talk about all the Rebirth number 1s from the month. So there won't be any Rebirth talk this week or next week really. But I will say this: sales out the door for Rebirth have been
insane.
like beating New 52 insane. I will get into this more in a couple of weeks. But the question is, are people going to come back for the second issue? I don't know.
Well, it's not really a second issue because we're going into the first issue.
To the first issue?
Well, but like Action and Detective this week, right? So, Black Panther reviewed well. Number 2s didn't sell. I mean, it sold well, but not nowhere near in a million years when number 1 sold. Nowhere even close. Will the number 2 sell for Rebirth? I mean, I had a couple people sign up for Black Panther. I've had like dozens of people sign up wholesale for every Rebirth title going forward, ongoing. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I think that this, I mean, just going off of the 4 that came out last week, all of them were very, very strong out the gate. The weakest one was, to me, Green Arrow.
I would say the weakest one was Lantern, but that's just me.
Yeah. Which is odd because you love Lantern. So
we'll save this talk. We'll save the
talk. But the thing is really solid reads across the board. Like content wise, if you got all 4 of those books, you got good quality books.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Black Panther, but it will not maintain these numbers. No. These numbers are fake. So
I mean, Rebirth's not going to maintain the numbers, but
no, of course not. But the drop's going to be a lot slower on Rebirth.
Yeah, and I think the expectation. I think it's fairly safe to say that, like, Green Arrow is going to have better sales by issue 3 than it had prior to Rebirth, kind of thing. Still.
Oh yeah.
So I think for the most part you're going to see an uptick comparatively with the Rebirth issues.
Well, considering Rebirth itself sold, what are they already on? 3rd prints?
Yeah, 3rd prints, and that 3rd print's already sold out.
Yep. When did the seconds come in next week?
Yeah. So the top 300 comics in the month of April sold 6.69 million copies. That's down 20% versus same month previous year. Big stuff last year. All comics sold by Diamond Comics, down 13.5% year to date from last year. So, we definitely got some room to grow. Last year was, I think, the 5th or 6th of consecutive growth for comics. With Rebirth coming up and Civil War coming up, these numbers are going to bounce right back up, probably even higher. We're potentially another double-digit growth year in print comics, which is fantastic. Next, we got some notable comics in here. At the number 13 spot, Walking Dead, number 153, sold 67,000 copies. That book just keeps going. Moon Knight, good showing at 60,000 copies. That's number 17. Let's see. The Dark Side War for Justice League sold 60,000. Justice League sold 71,000. What 10,000 people didn't buy the Dark Side War special? It's an issue of Justice League. Like, I don't know who didn't buy that. That's crazy talk. So I have no idea
it
why. It
was probably stores saw the special on it and thought it was connected to the previous specials, and they might not had good sales on those.
Those
so they dropped their numbers on it.
I don't know. Those sold real well. And, definitely a bit of a drop here from last month, but Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, number 2 at 58,000 copies. That's a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Our sales were not so hot on that title. I'll be curious.
Yes, but it means you still ordered.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what sales on 3 and above are.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect they'll be anywhere quite like that.
Well, yeah, and that's actually an interesting point is you really never know where a book's actually at until you get to the month after it starts to flip like that.
Yeah. What else we got? I feel like I'm missing something.
Cap.
Oh, yeah. So I haven't had a chance to read Captain America number 1 yet, but we've had a lot of people asking about it.
I've read it.
For those that have read it.
Those who've read it or those who have read it?
For those who have read it. Not those who have Reddit, the website, because we all have Reddit.
So,
if we want to, which we don't.
So I did sit down and I did read Captain America number 1. It was after the news and the internet and people went crazy, angry over it. So I kind of went, I need to sit down and read that. I'm hoping there's a story in there somewhere that makes it.
This is the issue where he votes for Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just making sure.
But Yeah, the way the issue plays out and everything.
So you're telling me that a character introduced 75 years ago has always been a Hydra agent.
That's what they lead you to believe.
We just didn't know it.
The way the story basically sets up is it goes through essentially the Hydra recruitment of Steve Rogers' mom.
Okay, now hold on. I need to add something here.
Okay.
Because even if your family is a Trump-supporting family, what stupid parents would take your kids to some group meeting where on the pamphlet is a skull with tentacles in red? Yeah. Like, you could be the worst parent known to man. But seriously...
Yeah.
Oh, it's painful.
Maybe from the Iron Islands.
But it's this whole idea of apparently his mom got recruited into Hydra when he was a little boy, and therefore you can make that natural conclusion that at the end of the issue when he goes Hail Hydra, that means he's been Hydra all along.
Yeah, you know that problem people had with Zemo's character in the Civil War movie?
Yeah.
That's this problem.
So I could be wrong. But there's a former Nazi Hydra high-ranking official with some sort of cosmic cube, if you will, that has the power to shape time, minds, and reality. Nope. Clearly, he's been a Hydra agent this whole time, and you should send your death threats to Nick Spencer because it's totally not going to change in 6 issues that you find out that Red Skull is behind it all. In no way, shape, or form will that be how this plot works out.
So basically,
because that makes sense.
Red Skull has Xavier's mind power, so
He does. Let's get this over the way. Let's get this out of the way. Nick Spencer, fantastic writer on a number of titles. Captain America has not been one of those titles. I have not been a fan.
His Sam Wilson cap has not been good.
Real rough.
This one, reading the issue, them wanting to take a little bit of a lighter tone to Cap, I was kind of fine with. I was weirded out that Sharon's old now.
What the fuck?
Really, just let him be Captain America, right? Like, let him be Captain America. Let him have a hot, big, busty girlfriend that's a badass. Let them awkwardly have sex because apparently he can't do this properly because, he's very, straight-laced. Like, let him have, his moment of being Captain America, being Steve Rogers in this time period. And Nick Spencer's a great writer to bring kind of that fun, easygoing feel to it. Mm-hmm. But, let's just slap Hydra in there and change it in 6 issues.
Yeah. He'll be back. Don't worry, guys. Seriously, it may be a stupid story and you made me mad, but literally every character ever goes through some sort of mind control or changing of his past
Everybody
history.
swears allegiance to Hydra.
Yeah. And it always comes back. If you're sending Nick Spencer death threats
the running joke is the second issue opens with, that's something I would never say.
Yeah. That'd be pretty funny.
Well, have you seen the people changing his costume to the Canadian one? And
no, I love all the memes.
Yeah. I saw the Deadpool one that was I hate chimichangas.
No, Darth Vader. Your father, I am not. Or, there's a whole bunch of them, actually.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck
Deadpool,
on that.
I don't like tacos.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of them, actually.
I just still don't understand what parent would take your kid to, it's just, no.
See, I'm of two minds. Stupid story. It'll be retconned. It'll be solved in a story arc. But at the same time...
I think you just solved it for everybody.
Right, but at the same time...
There's this cosmic cube thing. And just so you know, it's a little girl now.
That's okay.
The cosmic cube?
It will sell a lot more.
The cosmic cube's like a little girl.
You didn't...
I haven't read it yet.
That's part of the standoff.
Didn't read that.
Yeah.
I didn't even read it and I know it.
I read half the first issue and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. was messing with the living embodiment of a cosmic cube in standoff.
So you know that little girl that was from Future's End?
Yeah, New 52?
Yeah, New 52.
Yeah. Is she the cosmic cube?
Yeah, she's this. It's like they're...
I'm okay with that, actually.
This is like...
Did they... let's talk about another comic here. Let's talk about Future's End. Did they ever do? What the hell was up with that character?
She was just a bitch.
Did they ever do anything with her?
Because the end just was just
Batman
ended.
Batman
Beyond.
Beyond. Yeah, I mean, it's like she was like some weird creation by I almost said Hydra. By what was
Well,
it?
her parents took her to a pamphlet.
Yeah,
they got the pamphlet.
Oh God, what's the group that made her? I'm like, Cadmus, right?
Yeah.
Cadmus Labs.
Yeah, like the evil Cadmus in the future made her. Like, how weird. Who came up with that character?
It was funny. She was a funny character, but she was so annoying. Like I think at the end of it, she was like grifter and her
grifter, yeah,
and there was
a surrogate mom.
I couldn't remember who the mom was.
Weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume Rebirth is just wipe that all away.
They don't need to wipe it. Give Nick Spencer that book. I would read that book.
I don't know.
Nick Spencer, if you're getting too many death threats, go over to DC and write new.
So I'm up to Convergence in my DC reading, and Futures End's a weird comic.
It's weird, but it's fun.
It's weird.
If you like odd characters,
I don't want to say it continues the downward trend of the weekly series, but I would say it's on level with Trinity. It's not worse.
It's better than Trinity.
Well, it was bi-weekly with something else, wasn't that? Or was that
Trinity
weekly?
was bi-weekly.
No,
Futures
Trinity was once weekly.
No, Futures. Oh no, it just started late. It was only 48 issues. It wasn't 52.
Okay.
It started the month
That's
after,
right.
but it was weekly. Yeah, it just. Yeah. I mean, it's 52. I'll say it's equal to Countdown.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'll
say
give you Countdown
is.
I'll give because Trinity is.
Countdown is
bad.
Flawed, but I still like
Trinity.
it.
You are a lucky man.
It just meanders and never goes anywhere.
What?
Trinity.
Trinity is.
Yeah, Trinity was real. Hey, we're talking shit about DC Comics, Bryce.
I thought it was.
Check off your.
I thought it was just an excuse to do 3 panel or 3
great covers.
issues to do
fantastic covers on those books. Yeah, absolutely.
Jim Lee did a handful of them.
Yeah, great covers. All right, let's. Since we've got some cool backers this month, we're back in our random pick of the week.
Oh, we have to.
Let's do it.
Do we hit the mark?
Yeah. We actually did it last month, but I was gone for like 3/4 of the episode, so we'll double
3/4 of the episode
of the episodes.
Oh, okay.
We'll double random pick, so we'll do it this weekend, next week.
Oh wow, lucky.
Yeah. I'm going to start so no one can steal my idea. Don't watch Preacher the TV show. Read Preacher the comic book. 6 volumes. Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon. Yeah. I will. If you buy this comic, okay. Now look, if you're easily offended, if you're super, I think actually, if you are religious, I think
tell them you'll send them a free one.
I think you could still get a lot out of Preacher if you're religious. It's not anti-religion. It's a man who has lost his faith trying to get it back. A position I would feel that most religious people probably find themselves in at one point or another. It's if you are easily offended, it's not a book for you. No. It's gross and violent in a lot of ways, but it's never, to me, I don't feel it's never offensive. There is the potential to offend, but I feel that the characters never.
Okay, so Ryan. Anytime
Humperdinky Doo is as offensive as you're going to get in that book, and I can see that rubbing some people the wrong way.
Well, this is the thing. Whenever I go to recommend this to people, I say the first thing I ask them, "Are you religious?"
Yeah.
And they go yes or no, and depending on their answer, I go, "Are you easily offended? Grossed out, or in general just a prude?"
But.
I mean, I don't say it like that. But
Preacher is one of my comics at the store, along with Sandman and a few others, that I'm like, I will purchase back at full price any volume of this that you buy that you do not like. Yeah. Like if they buy it, I'm like, I will 100% refund your purchase if you don't like this. And I'll make this offer on the podcast. If you buy Preacher Volume 1, the trade paperback, and you don't like it, mail it to me and I'll refund you the comic and your shipping costs.
As long as you bought it from Ryan.
No. If you buy it anywhere, I'll take it back because I'll just sell it off to someone else. Yeah, as long as it's in good shape. I will pay you retail price for that, whatever you paid for it, because it's a damn fine comic. It is one of my absolute favorites. And I actually just ordered all 6 of the hardcovers for myself because it is time for a reread. That's my next read.
Oh, I don't know. Those Absolutes are coming out.
I can't. I'm done with the DC Absolutes. They suck now. Sorry, Charlie. They suck. They need backup features. They need more stuff in them. They need to be bigger. I'm not digging the new Absolutes. I'm totally turned off by them.
I agree that so sidetrack on the Absolutes.
Hey, I said something else bad about DC.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
The Absolutes are kind of painful now because the price has either stayed the same or gone up, but they keep shaving off what's in them. So, yeah, in general, I don't really blame people who don't buy the absolutes. I still occasionally break down, but it used to be like week something came out. I'm like, I need this. I buy this. I take this home. Now it's like a few months down the road, I should pick that up.
Yeah.
Now, Mitch, who listens to this podcast, will second that your Preacher is an awesome comic and you should buy it.
Yeah. So, my thing when it comes to Preacher is just Garth Ennis has a very, very good track record of coming up with ideas, and then after I'm reading him for a while, I'm like, now he's just going for shock value, where I never got that with Preacher. Like, Preacher, he stays very kind of like on the path, and it's fucked up, but in every way it's fucked up. It makes sense.
Well, the thing is watching the pilot episode, I in my brain I realized there is no way they're going to do a good job on the lighter episode if they ever get to telling the lighter story, right? Because Ennis does, yes, it has the shock value and in your face and all that stuff, but there are moments in Preacher where it's just real and it's very, it hits you. When he's in Salvation, that's a lot of what you were saying about, people reflecting and being, questioning their faith and stuff like that. And that's kind of where he has that kind of winds out, and then he slaps you in the face with the there's the stuff. But it overall, Preacher is just a really, really solid read.
Yeah. No, there's a lot in there. But you guys get to have your picks now, unless we're all picking Preacher this week.
We're going to give our listeners what they want.
What's your pick? Someone pick.
Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman. New series? Old series?
The current series.
Yeah.
Good
stuff?
So in general, just like a lot of people, when they kind of revealed the new series with her being pregnant, I was kind of like, really? You're going there? But I've really enjoyed it. I like the way that it still sort of continues the general spirit of the book. Just add that whole, I'm a mother now, so I kind of have to...
As a non-breeder,
yes,
you can tell that the people writing this comic have just had a kid.
Yes.
Because you're like, for me, I'm like, Jesus, here we go. Like, the first series is great. Elements of the series is great, but it's like, all right, people.
So, yes, if you're a breeder out there, you'll probably get more out of it than Ryan did.
I think it's still funny. I still think there's good parts to it.
Yeah.
But I wish they would.
Like, I love the whole space hospital thing being like, there were a lot of, it was a surprisingly good read given the twist.
We're in this part now where all the guys that came, and girls that came into comics as creators in the 90s and the early 2000s, the 2000s, right? Let's say this new breed of people, they were all in their 20s. They're now in their 30s, and they're all having babies. So get ready for a bunch of baby comics coming up here soon. So you guys will love them.
So by the third or fourth, I'll be like, this is the worst trend in comics ever. But as long as it's just one...
Well, he's Saga.
You
got Saga.
But that's one of the best things about Saga, too, is just that it feels real.
You're going to get baby Gwenpool. All right.
Is that the X-Babies Gwenpool? Going to cross over with
X-Babies?
That'd be kind of amazing.
So,
but I just want more X-Babies. So
I think for me, I'm going to give Nick Spencer some love because he's been getting a lot of hate. I would say grab the trade Second Chance Man, I believe it's called, which is the stuff before they renumbered it. And then the new one is Everybody Loves Team-Ups. So I would say grab those two trades for Ant-Man because those are really, really good, funny, just really, really fun stuff. He does an amazing job with the character and just what's going on. So, yeah, my pick is Ant-Man, 2 Ant-Man trades because technically they're the same thing.
Ant-Man, really good.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened with
Cap.
I don't know what happened with Cap, but really good.
Bendis Daredevil from the 2000s. I just rewatched.
Volume 1, I'm not out of print, but unavailable right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's horrible. I just started rewatching Daredevil Season 1 just because I binged through it really, really fast. I kind of want to retake it at a slower pace.
Yeah.
Pace. Sorry. And I just watched the first two last night. First one is a little slow on rewatching, but the second episode is so really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way it wraps up the father storyline with him saving the kid at the very end is just yeah. On the second of watching it, I was like, this is really, really brilliant filmmaking. But the tone and theme wise, it really reminds me of the Bendis run. Which I think Brubaker took over later, if I remember right.
Yeah,
it's just the whole run was just I was blown my mind when I was reading it.
Yeah, have they collected that in an omnibus yet? The Bendis
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Brubaker too, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
and the Frank Miller stuff. Yep.
But they haven't consistently kept trades out though.
Oh no, they're all available. I mean, it's just it's right now it's unavailable,
okay.
like recently.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's coming back in the print.
The thing is for Marvel, it's a red flag for us going, uh-oh.
Yeah, no, it should be coming back to print. It wasn't like
I mean,
out
they
of
went through
print, just unavailable.
Just like everything else, they went through the really tiny trades, and they started doing
now
those
they're in the
bigger
Ultimates.
trades.
Yeah.
Well, it was also during a time when I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man, so you got the Go Happy Spider-Man, a young Spider-Man, and then you got a totally dark noir kind of street-level stuff that Bendis was writing also, so it was like really nice two spectrums at the side.
Yeah, that was a great time for Bendis books.
Yeah, man. I mean, he could do no wrong at that time.
Yeah.
Now he seems to do all wrong.
Not all wrong.
No.
How you liking Minority Report? I mean, Civil War 2.
I gotta read it.
I haven't even read the first issue. I got 0-1 sitting in my stack. I'll read them probably this weekend. All right, let's hit some questions up.
Questions.
This is kind of go back to our Preacher Talk. Slight spoiler for episode 2. This is Mitchell. He says, I think it's too early for...
Hold on. Brock?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
Well, I talked to him today on the phone, and Ryan made me answer, hey, Mitch. So I kind of already have said it, but hey, Mitch.
I think it's a little too early for the cowboy character, and he needs a better intro. What do you think? If that's the intro to the Santa Killers, then he needs a better intro.
So they just need to blow up everybody and restart the show.
I get the feeling they're going to, over the course of a number of episodes, we're going to get Santa Killers' backstory sort of sprinkled in.
The thing is was it Santa Killers in current day, or was this cowboy in current day, or was it in the past?
No, it was the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
If as long as it's in the past, then I'm like, okay, I can, because the miniseries does that the Santa Killers miniseries they had. It explains where he comes about, and
right.
That's something that I can see you interspersing within.
Yeah, but
Either way, I love that miniseries.
But I think they need to.
Mitch loves it too. That's why he was happy when I got him.
I think you need to kind of get to that's a big character, and to not have him.
Uh-huh.
I also assume the Ghost of John Wayne will not be appearing in the show, but he might. I don't know. He's a pretty important part of the show. They need to allow, because AMC, maybe Toby, maybe you have a better idea than me on this. Does AMC get fined if they swear?
Oh, actually, I have no idea. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't.
Because they need to drop the F-bomb.
I don't think they swear on Walking Dead.
Not the F-bomb.
Yeah. I don't,
Well...
I said I don't think they swear.
Yeah,
So.
I don't think they do.
In general, there was a lot of talk around that with the Walking Dead finale. Because when they introduced Negan, they literally said they filmed it in two ways just because they weren't sure if they were going to get away with swearing that much.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He swears a lot in that scene in the comic.
AMC is now a Skinamax level TV show.
I think they cannot change two elements of Preacher that involve the word fuck. Go fuck yourself. Has to be in there unchanged. If they get fined, take the fine for it. And he has to have the lighter. This is fuck communism. He has to.
Well,
they can't. They have to show it. They cannot beat. They only have to show it once, but they have to show it.
But that lighter story is so pinnacle in the comic.
I know.
It is like it blows my mind. Going,
it is
this. There's no way they can do that.
It is his father's defining. It is his father's defining story, and it is the defining story of how Jesse relates to his father.
Yep.
And I do not see a way you can fake your way around that. It like the language must be kept, or there is no point to do those, because those two scenes specifically are rare cases I think, where swearing is an integral part. Not just idiots like us swearing for no reason. It's an integral part of the story and character.
Hey, when Charlie swears, it's special.
It is special.
Well, so there's always this part of me that's like, you know what? I don't know how much I care as long as it's on the Blu-rays or whatever as they come out. Just because, like, the way they did the thing with The Walking Dead is the minute they announced that they filmed it both ways, it was completely understood and stuff that what that meant is you could watch the unedited version with all the swearing on the Blu-rays.
I think they did a fine job. The thing is with Negan's character in the comic, he swears a lot.
Yes.
Like, he is worse
Every other word.
Worse than a sailor.
I don't care if he doesn't swear at any other point.
Yeah. But the thing is like we talked about before, they got the essence of Negan without him swearing.
Yeah.
And so, to me, that's where it comes across.
But like I said, Negan's just kind of an asshole, so swearing a bunch is just a character trait, and I feel like you can switch those. The specific lines in Preacher are...
Don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you that those lines need to exist. I'm just saying, if they cannot exist on normal broadcast version, if they put it out on streaming, if they put it out on Blu-ray, as long as they kind of go, you know what, we can't do it right in this medium.
Yeah.
It's the same way like with a lot of movies. They film certain scenes slightly differently for when they know it's going to air on regular television.
Yeah. Got a question here from Mark on Twitter. Says, will the upcoming Justice League cartoon be anywhere near as good in quality as Justice League Unlimited? Probably not. Nothing is. But did you guys see the shot of the characters that are going to be on it?
No.
Very Dini-esque, for which makes sense. I don't have the full list in front of me, but Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, Dr. Fate, Shazam, Dr. Light, the female version, a weird-looking Joker.
Is this Justice League or is this Justice League?
It's called JLA. It's called JLA.
Justice League International.
I mean, this is just...
It's going to be another one of the short shows. I don't know if it's going to be... It's going to be one of the 15-minute shows. I'm guessing it's going to be more action and less jokey, cartoony like you normally get, but that's just a guess so far. It could be closer to Teen Titans Go. I'm just kind of hoping not.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go is its own beast.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love Teen Titans Go for what it is. I don't want a Justice League Teen Titans Go. I want a JLA show.
We have Firestorm, we have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Big Barda, Harley, Hawkman, Lobo, like classic Lobo too.
Harley.
Yeah, no, they're like, hey, Justice League, you can use all the Batman characters. Joker and Harley are on the screenshot. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool-looking characters going to be in it. And it looks very Dini-esque. Again,
you mean Bruce Timmich?
Or Bruce Timmich, I mean, sorry. Will it be the same? No, but nothing will be, right? It could be great, right? But Justice League Unlimited's tough. That's a very, very special show. Very special show.
Continue Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, they should. Got this question from a few people. I think our good friend Darfox 8 was the first one to send it to me, so I'll ask his. Now that the trailer is out, I want to hear our interest levels for Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition. Hopes and fears, nopes and jeers, etc. So the big one is Jenna Coleman? No, Jenna Coleman. Jesus, that's the Doctor Who. What the hell is her name? What's the girl's name?
Maloney.
Yeah, Jenna Malone. Jenna Malone,
okay.
Right? Yeah. All right, I'm right with this. I'm going to look it up real quick. Yeah, Jenna Malone. Sorry, what did I say?
She's back in the movie.
She's back in the movie as Supergirl?
Batgirl? Who knows?
I think it's Supergirl.
Really?
Yeah, that's Supergirl. They don't say. That's blonde hair, glasses. That's Supergirl. That's not Batgirl. Yeah, everyone was like, oh, they just cast... Yeah, Jenna Malone. They just cast Barbara Gordon or Carrie Kelly, all this stuff. She's blonde with glasses. That's Supergirl. I don't know who else it could be. I mean, it could be a random
Spoiler?
no one character. No, it's Supergirl.
Actually,
Charlie?
I don't even care. I just want to watch the movie.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I guess my general consensus of this is after watching the movie multiple times in the theater, I liked it, but it was flawed. I'm hoping the Ultimate Edition is less flawed when you put that half hour back in.
I'm sure it'll be pretty much
Wasn't
the
it like
same
45 minutes?
with Supergirl.
It's half an hour.
Yeah,
Half an
but
hour.
I guess this is just a general statement.
You could do a lot in half an
They
hour.
better have
Yeah,
a
sure,
good explanation of what she's doing at the end of the movie if it is Supergirl.
Yeah.
That's like the one thing for me that gives me sort of a pause on that.
I'm really, really excited.
Minor pause, though.
Yeah. It's
I
July.
actually, I think it's right
June
before Comic-Con.
28th is the
okay.
digital, if I recall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the digital
And
comes out at the end
It's
of
a whole
June.
month
and
for
then,
digital.
And then
Yeah.
I thought it was only like 2 weeks for
no, it's 2
digital.
weeks. Yeah, it's like July 9th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Either way, I'm really, really excited for this. I loved the trailer. Absolutely loved it. Far more than I did the movie or the previous trailers. And that's not a poke at the
No,
movie or the
no,
previous trailer. I'm just like, this is what interests me, and that's what I want to see to begin with.
Yeah.
So and that's the stuff I was complaining about. Some of the words they say in the trailer. Who knows if it's in the movie? Because trailers are trailers these days. But that's exactly what I felt like was missing out of the movie. So I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that just felt very disconnected in the movie in a way.
Yeah.
That adding stuff back in might make flow
Okay.
better.
Yeah. Nope.
And
So it's
I'm
June,
all for
20,
that.
June 28th for the digital and July 19th.
19th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was right before Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Comic-Con is on the 20th.
No, I agree with it though, Toby, about the it being excited more for this
Yeah.
because
Far more. It's just like even just all the little monologue they chose in the trailer is like that's exactly what I wanted to see in the previews
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
theatrical. But I know nothing. I'm just like an asshole podcaster.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in a couple of weeks. Cisco on Twitter says spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow, which we already talked about.
Vibe is doing spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow.
Which will we see first, the JSA on Legends of Tomorrow or JSA back in DC's current comic books? I would guess both at the same time. 'Cause that's how comics work. Hopefully. A couple questions about Rebirth. I'm going to skip a few of these, but real quick, also from Cisco, he says, because again, we'll talk about this more in 2 weeks. He says, how have your readers responded to Rebirth titles? It's one thing to sell well, another to garner great word of mouth. I can only go by sales because let me rephrase that. I can only go by people adding them to their subscription list, right? Tomorrow, I will hear everyone's opinion on the first week of the Rebirth titles. Overall reaction to Rebirth, the first issue, from a lot of my regular customers was very positive.
Yep.
There was a lot of excitement for the first week of Rebirth. I sold a crap load of copies. I also had many, many people add some to all, most to all Rebirth books to their
Well, and
subscription
you also had
list.
people pre-order.
And, yeah, exactly. And a huge number of pre-orders. At this point, with only a couple exceptions, and that's because we're still way out, stuff like Super Sons and Constantine and a couple of books like that, almost every DC title I now have subscribed at higher than every single Marvel title with the exception of Civil War 2. That is, crazy. That is just absolutely crazy.
Even though you've always been a DC heavy store, it's
not this
never
heavy.
been that heavy.
Even New 52, we are selling we are tracking above New 52 #1 sales at this point. Now, it could completely collapse next week, right? But this is, and I'm talking other retailers, and sales have been off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're giving the fans what they wanted, what they were missing.
Hopefully,
So,
yeah.
yeah, and it's
It doesn't really
interesting
surprise
to me to actually watch this just because the fan reaction to a lot of stuff that was talked about leading up to Rebirth was very lukewarm, not like, but as soon as the issue hit, it just switched.
Yeah, everything switched. Yeah.
So, Bryce, you're going to need to buy, like, all the X-Men backstock and current books to even this out at the store a little bit here.
I mean, I definitely have got some good reorders on the Civil War 2 stuff, and we got a handful of people pre-ordering them. So, I mean, it's not like it's bad. I mean, to me, Marvel has been on a severe downward trend the last couple months, and Civil War 2 definitely course-corrected that, which is great.
I flipped through the book a little bit, and I'm already, like, not happy about something.
Well, they off a few characters, and at least one of your favorites.
Yeah. My main thing is why. It's like Marvel keeps offing characters for no reason, it seems like.
Maybe we'll do a Rebirth and Civil War episode every month. Talk about the latest things.
And our listeners can tell us which one was better.
Oh, there you go. But you guys, I feel like we mentioned this last week. I can't remember off the top of my head. Marvel Now, again. They're rebooting all their books in the fall. Post-Civil War 2?
Marvel Now.
Yeah, Marvel Now again. So
2.0.
like, if this is, again, like Rebirth, if this is Marvel going, hey, we're going to cancel 80% of our shitty titles, and we're going to bring back all the classic characters and give you the real teams, and give you the real X-Men and the real Avengers and a real Peter Parker,
fuck yeah.
Then hell yeah. If it's, hey, 17 more takes, and here's Dr. Voodoo, except she's a girl, and Carnage, except she's a girl.
Which is Marvel for the last 10, 20 years.
Bullet in the head. Bullet in the head.
No, it's Carnage, but it's on Gwenpool, so...
It's Carnage on Silver Surfer,
how many times
but he's a girl.
How many times
I want to blow my
brains out?
Want to kill myself. I want to kill myself.
Well,
not that there's anything wrong with there being girl comics. I love them, but like that's not how you fix things. It's the character, but they're different. Like, no, just do something good.
I really personally, I think that was the downfall of Marvel for me personally.
The last couple of years.
Yeah, with the whole character switching and
DC did it when they just prior to Rebirth, they basically none of the characters are the characters. Right as Marvel went, now we're really going to go deep with this post Secret Wars, and none of the characters are the character. Yeah. Why? What makes you think that's what people want? I'm okay in certain situations. X-23 taking over for Wolverine.
That's fine.
As an isolated event. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
but not when every other...
being Batman, fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
But not when every other character is gone.
Jane Foster being Thor. Aaron did an amazing job transferring us into that.
But every character is not the real character now at this point, and it's not Peter Parker. That's not Peter Parker.
Could you only imagine if the kid comes into the comic book store with his dad, and dad goes, "I'm going to buy him some comic books." He just watched Civil War. Well,
there's nothing to give them.
Captain America's Falcon, and everything is switched
and a
up.
Hydra agent.
There's absolutely nothing to give anyone. It's real strange. Real strange time
actually,
for Marvel.
You can give him Ant-Man.
That's as close, yeah.
That's okay. You can give him lots of coloring books because that's the latest trend.
And Vision.
You're going to give the little kid Vision?
Screw it. Issue 6? Oh.
I still haven't read the last two. I got to catch up. So Cisco's got one last question here. Let's wrap this up. He says, "How long will DC have to sustain sales momentum before Marvel responds price wise? All the DC books are now $2.99. Will Marvel change their books to $2.99? No. There is never a day that they will lower their price.
No.
Ever. Never. DC could sell millions of copies and Marvel would not lower their price. Nope. It's not going to happen.
And see, I blame Disney for this to a degree, but
this isn't Disney.
But
Marvel's been on this path
for the longest time. There seemed to be some amount of synergy between the two companies in terms of price and it was always like, well, if we're cutting the page count, the other company also seems to cut their page count around the same time. There always tended to be some amount of synergy between the two companies when responding to the market.
They've deviated so heavily.
Oh, I know. Now it's just like, nope, we're not going to pay attention to what the other company's doing at all. We're just going to do our own thing.
Yeah. And Marvel kind of did always lead the way with that, right? Yeah. I mean, I felt that they always did, but DC is just it's DC, and you know what? And DC's betting on the future. We have 6 years of continued growth in print comics. We have a couple of years of growth in digital, which flatlined last year. At estimates are 10% of the industry.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll have to see how Rebirth affects that, too.
Right. That's. I mean, we're technically down right now year to date, but that is gonna go back up for print because.
Well, I'm talking about digital.
Oh, digital. Yeah.
Now, do you think DC is going to overtake Marvel, percentage wise or unit wise? Probably.
Unit wise, potentially. I would say June is going to be July is where it could happen. Because I think people will bump retailers that got caught shorthanded will bump their numbers for July for the new number ones, of which they're not as strong, but there's still a lot of them. But we already have most of the double shipping books front loaded. Because right now, DC just isn't putting out enough comics this month for them to get that number. And Marvel's full bore in a Civil War crossover mode at this point. July could be interesting. They will not beat them on the dollar front because Marvel releases $6 comics and $9, which that's another question here by Cisco. But can they beat them on the unit front? Very possibly. Very possibly. At least for a few months.
Now, the real question is, will they beat Star Wars?
Well, if they beat Marvel, they beat Star Wars.
So, but it just amuses me that, like, Star Wars issues are the ones to beat at this point.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. It's 4 out of the 10. Yeah, 4 of the top 10.
Well, the thing is, you take those out, they're basically the same.
Yeah. Cisco continues with a $10 Deadpool comic and a $6 Civil War comic released in the same week as the $3 DC Comics and Rebirth. Could Marvel be considered tone deaf? You don't consider Marvel tone deaf. Marvel does whatever the hell Marvel wants. They always have. They always will. They don't care about the market. They don't care about anyone else but themselves. They have always played this game their own way. Always. For better or for worse. I mean, Marvel's been the number one publisher nearly every single month since the 1960s. So they're obviously doing something very right. But, we're in some interesting times.
But that's the thing is if you look at single issue sales, they're doing something right. But when you go over to trade sales,
they're ninth fiddle. I'll be curious actually what the sales for 2015 were, because
Marvel just needs to turn everything into those best collections and the epic collections, and everything will be just fine.
I actually got to look because I don't think I ever saw Brian Hibbs'
perfect collections. I think they call it.
Yeah, the epic collections. Yeah,
epic, and what's the other one? They have like
the hardcovers.
No, they have both in like similar size. There's I think the epic collections, the ones I like, and they have another one where they put 2 trades into one, which I really like.
The
Ultimate collections.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two are totally fine with me.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Everything else is horseshit.
I actually got to look up and see Brian Hibbs, see if because I don't know that I saw his book scan report for 2015. I'm gonna have to look at that because I always like that. But I'll be very curious if Marvel, because at least here at the store, despite the craziness with Marvel's trade paperbacks, we've actually seen a huge increase in sales in their trades. Huge from nothing to something. Yeah. It's not DC, it's not independent, but it is a significant growth for Marvel. And industry-wide, I'll be curious if that's reflected the same way. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, again, it's not that Marvel's tone deaf. It's just Marvel just doesn't give a fuck. They do whatever they want. They always have. And if they think a $10 Deadpool comic is the way to success, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter what any retailer or reader tells them. Marvel's always been like this. DC...
Well, it's like everything else. It doesn't really matter what people say. If people buy it, people buy it.
Sure. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, you've seen in the past 5 years or so, I mean, people have become very, very, this is what I want, this is what I get. Like, they trim down their pull lists.
Well, we have very few customers. I talk about this often. We have very few customers that are all Marvel or all DC, right? Although more now because of Rebirth. But we have Deadpool customers buy Deadpool, and they only buy Deadpool. That's one of those comics, right? Miss Marvel customers buy Miss Marvel. They don't buy anything else. They
Grumpy
buy
Cat
Miss Marvel.
Customers buy Grumpy Cat and nothing else.
The average guy that's general Marvel fan struggling to find books right now. Same with DC prior to this month, right? But I mean, now a lot of these general DC fans have come back.
But the readership has been very. They'll cut something. Like, they're faster to drop something.
At $4 an issue, you're damn right. And I can't cut this stuff fast enough, right? With Marvel and Brock, you see me and you do FOC every single week. Our final order cutoff, our adjustments.
DC numbers are always okay.
Copy here, copy there.
It's helping me, actually, because I used to pick covers or whatever, or flip through pages and pick books up on the flim at $2.99.
$4 to $10 an issue.
Yeah, that's no longer the case. I mean, I literally sometimes walk up and go, "Wait a minute, that's a $6 book. Never mind, I can't buy that for
like
just
people,
pages."
like last week, people went, "I can spend $10 and get Deadpool, or I can spend $12 and get 4 DC books."
So let me pimp the comic store here real quick. So we did pre-orders, and we'll go back to
So why would complain about prices on comic books? Let's pimp the comic book store.
Well, no, say your point, and then I'll tell you.
I was just going to say that the thing that always gets me is have all the regulars who come in on Sunday, and I'll tell them their total, and they'll kind of like flip through the books and go, "Okay, that's what did it this week."
Yeah. So
and it's always a Deadpool comic, right?
Well, it's always something. It's always Dark Knight 3 or Deadpool. Or I mean, there's plenty of examples of books that you don't think are just when you're grabbing your stack, you don't think are going to suddenly jump your price.
Yeah, I actually had that on one of those Saturdays too, where they were like, "Excuse me, how much was that?" And I'm like, "Oh, $15.99." They were like, "It's 2 books." I'm like, "Well, this one's the other one is 10 or something like that." It surprised them big time.
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
So we do lots of pre-orders, right? We do lots of pre-orders in the store, and the pre-orders we have up right now that are currently up, and the new ones for August are going to go up pretty soon here. But the ones we have up for the July right now are the complete Civil War Month 2, which has all the crossovers. And then we actually had Rebirth Month 2, which is all the #1 issues. But for anyone that pre-ordered the first month of Rebirth, we're actually throwing in the other 2 issues shipping that month for free, the second issue of Action and the second issue of Detective. You will have every Rebirth book published in the month of June. We're actually just going to give you those issues. So the 20 or so people that ordered those, if you listen to this podcast, you'll be getting those for free. But we did an incentive on this because I decided that I've had so many requests for complete sets of Rebirth of every issue shipping that month. So I decided to go through and offer every Rebirth comic that month from DC, which is... what's that, like 14, it's 30, maybe 28, 30 comics or something like that. And yeah, I think it's like 29 or 30 comics. And you can now order from us, comicsconspiracy.biz, every single Rebirth comic. We're already sold out of month 1, so we can't do that because we're already sold out of some of the issues already and the Rebirth special. But if you want to jump in, if you're already starting to pick them up, you want to pre-order, support the store, get a little bit of a discount on it, free shipping, you can go on there and pre-order that. There's the same amount of DC comics that are Rebirth as Marvel Civil War comics shipping in the same month. There may actually be more Marvel Civil War, or it might be like right about the same. It's $90 for every Civil War. I'm sorry, it's $90 for every Rebirth one. It's $125 for every Civil War comic.
Oh, Jesus.
Roughly the same amount of comics. All right? That's huge price difference for a lot of people. Yep. So we have plenty of people ordering the Civil War, so I'm not trying to talk you out of that. Pre-order it, right? Go for it. But that price point, it does affect some people, and it's like, I'm definitely selling more. Well, I shouldn't say that. Am I selling more Rebirth because they're $2.99? If they were $3.99, would I sell the exact same amount? Possibly. It's hard to tell. You really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we won't really know until the double shippers start coming out.
Right. But I feel that the $2.99 price point is a good point, and people are acknowledging that, and some people are making the purchase because, hey, I can have every Rebirth book for $90 in an entire month. Cool. And that's harder with Marvel, Yeah. I mean...
Well, that's just Civil War titles.
Yeah,
that's not even...
Again, like Rebirth, it's most of their line at this point.
But that's the thing is
most of the books are crossing over.
For DC, that's most of DC's line.
Yeah.
Whereas for Marvel...
It's still most of their line. It's still
most of their line, but you still don't have certain titles that, I mean, is it...
But it's the crossovers.
It's the crossover issues and stuff. But it's not necessarily going to be everything.
Yeah, I mean, and Charlie will defend this point. I mean, the step up the point that Marvel has is the digital download. Which, I mean, Charlie, if these DC books were all $3.99 and had digital codes, would you have bought them all?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Well, he bought them at $4.99.
So
The DC books?
Yeah, the combo packs.
for certain
Oh,
ones, like
yeah,
that.
For certain
yeah.
ones,
When
like
they-
Charlie was like,
yeah.
you got my combo pack?
Yeah.
I
So
was.
I can't say, there is a percent of the audience that would pay extra if they had the codes in them. But at the same point,
So my mentality on this is, for the health of the industry, I would rather see them at $2.99
Yeah.
just because it's the impulse buy
sales.
thing. It's
Yeah.
I want somebody to be willing to pick up a Green Arrow issue just to check out if it's something that they would like to pick up and keep going with. And you're not going to get that on a $10 Deadpool book, but and even like at $4 a pop, it adds up really quick versus 3 comics for under $10 doesn't phase most
Well, I
people.
mean, it's you either get 10 comics for $30 or you get 10 comics for $40. And it starts. I mean, if you're getting 20 comics a month, that's $80. That's $60.
yeah.
Like-
a lot of people don't have budgets, but a lot of people do. So
Yeah.
I'll be very curious how this pans out for DC. I like money, but I also like happy customers and selling comics. And happy customers buy more comics. If they have more money, maybe they'll buy. I mean, they are double shipping these
Well, I
books.
mean,
so realistically, these are $6 comics. But
to the point you're
there's less
always
comics.
making,
That's weird.
the number one thing people care about is, are they good books?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's gonna bring people back and keep people buying
Yeah.
a single once a month title or double ship title a month.
Nobody didn't buy Justice League the same week as Rebirth because it was $6,
Yeah.
right? And nobody didn't buy Civil War because it was $6 either. But a $10 Deadpool, the first time we sold a bunch. Second time I sold less. This one that came out this week, 1 copy off the shelf. 1.
And even then,
That is frightening.
and even then, when you get something like the Justice League big finale issue,
Sure.
it's one of those things where you can make an exception pretty easily on something like
This
that.
is the thing: is DC didn't dump a lot of titles that week. DC was mainly focused on giving us Rebirth, giving us Justice League the finale, and giving us Superman. There was a couple extra titles, but there wasn't anything. You weren't competing with something that was ginormously.
Yeah.
It's not like you were looking at 12 books on the wall, and one was $6 and one, but they were like $2.99. Here
But
you go.
I mean, the bottom line is Rebirth versus Civil War. Even if they were the same price, I don't think that would have affected the sales either way. I think people would have bought Rebirth if it was more expensive. I think people would have bought Civil War if it was less expensive. I don't think it really moved the needle. What really moves the needle is it a good book?
Yeah,
Do you get people to continue past that? Sure, I'll give it a try.
Well, I'd be curious to see what the digital sales are currently on the DC Rebirth
I'm sure very
special,
good.
Yeah.
because I mean, most stores have said they're sold out,
Yeah, I'm sure very
and
good.
That's
those
true.
those second prints are coming in at $5.99, and people will buy it at $5.99.
I honestly think the announcing of the $5.99 has pushed the sales of the $2.99 books.
Sure.
When they heard it was going to be $5.99, I think they came in.
Well, here's what DC did brilliantly with this, and this is like a Marvel play here. They price them at $5.99, which moves the sales from the $2.99 one. They then don't put the second print on FOC, meaning they're limited orders, which means every store that ordered got them instantly. Stores couldn't order them 10 minutes after they went on sale. Those prices are going to skyrocket on eBay because the printer on that is microscopic.
low.
People are going to go crazy for the second print.
yeah,
What do they do for
third
the
printing is the
new
real
cover?
one. Yeah.
Third print's the real one with a new cover.
Yeah.
Right? And so they get people that miss the second print. They're like, oh, I got to get on the third print, new cover, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, DC,
Well,
they know what they're
they're
doing.
also doing the bound on the second one, not the staple.
Yeah, but the second and third print are both square bound, so they're not they don't have the normal comic binding. So, all right, before we get out of here, it's that Patreon time.
Ooh,
Got a
Patreon.
giant list of people. I should pre-record this or something. Do this some other way because you're just listening to you rattle off a bunch of names. Maybe
I
I'll
think
make it
everybody
fun.
enjoys listening to it because of how you pronounce them.
Maybe I'll Maybe I'll do what I actually say every month and maybe play some music behind this or something like that to give you something to go out on here. But let's go. We're going to thank all our great friends from Patreon, patreon.com/comicconspiracy. You can donate to us $1 a month and helps us host the thing and buy a brand new laptop because our laptop finally was,
Thank you.
I think it started to just decay. It started to, the thing was like 9,000 years old, fossilized. And
I thought you just started to spark artificial intelligence and you had to put it down.
No, that I wish, man. I really wish.
Some tech museum wanted it to put on display.
Yeah. They're like, this is like a Pentium? Like, what's a Pentium? I haven't seen one of these in forever. So we got to thank all sorts of great people that have donated, and then our big backers at the end. We'll talk about you guys in a minute, but let's thank our good friends Mike Coonrad, Mark Long, Edgar Moreno, Kevin Nguyen, Blake Etheridge, Wesley Thon. He's coming back for Season 3. Mario Miranda, Mike Campbell, David Safar, Christopher Noyes, going to see Warcraft on Thursday.
Yep.
Can't wait. Alex McHale, Joe Jimenez, Armando Tostani, Ivan Liskanik, Chris Palaki, Aaron Wright, Jason Thomas, Ocularis. Where's my Oculus Rift? I gotta bug our good friend Albert Soyd so I can borrow his when he gets it. Matthew Schnapp.
You put that on, I will punch you in the net.
Santiago. Oh, of course I gotta try it. Santiago Mendez, Paula Schultz, Sloan, Father Dante, Don Kilson, John G, Dennis Jansen, and Keith Amaral. A bunch of new names in there. So thank you guys, all of your awesome backs. Backing us at various levels. We totally appreciate it.
They're awesome backs.
Yeah,
they're awesome backings, backers. They are all awesome backers.
You might think you're front next week. I don't
they might have awesome backs.
Yeah, they could.
You never know.
Dripped.
So, apparently, if you're on our Patreon, just send us a picture of your back.
You're awesome.
That's what Ryan's
You
asking.
are awesome backers.
So
yes, you are.
So on
awesome
Patreon,
backers.
just post a picture of your back. We want to see your back.
Remind me to make fun of you guys
again?
for 5 minutes every time you misspeak a word.
But that's part of our
Albert
thing.
Soy, our great friend Albert Soy.
He's got an app.
He's got an app called Plant Everywhere on iTunes. No, I was thinking, I picked up Albert Soy when I was at Disneyland Paris. I got him a Phantom Manor pin to add to his
Did he
collection.
come down to pick up his hot toys?
He did, yeah, he got them all. Going to be on the podcast here really soon. Ryan Hess, he's got a new podcast.
Hess.
Yep, Hess Express is back. The Preach podcast. It's at soundcloud.com/Preach podcast. Three fools in the desert preach to you about whatever's on their minds. Comics, video games, other random nerdity. He's actually coming out here pretty soon, like month and a half, 2 months or so.
He's coming out in August, right?
Yeah, we'll definitely have him back on then.
He's probably going to come out for...
But we're going to do
a special thing.
I'm hoping, yeah. But we're going to do a Patreon with him.
You know why, right?
Episode pretty soon too.
Because it's really hot where he is.
I hear that. He's in the desert. Jody Lawson's got Canon the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. Pick up those comics. John Nesmith, Drinking with Batman.libsyn.com. Go listen to his podcast, Drinking with Batman. Going through every issue of Batman while you drink. That's the best way to do it.
You know, I just imagine Jim Gordon and Batman from Teen Titans Go just pounding him back.
I love their relationship
in that.
and I don't know how to put that.
It's awesome.
Have you seen the Scooby-Doo parody episode?
I don't think so. I have 40 of them on my TiVo I haven't watched because they apparently make 9,000 episodes a year.
Why wouldn't they?
It's crazy how many they make.
The first season Blu-ray, I think, has
It has a lot.
50.
Yeah, there's a ton of them on there.
It's 2 discs.
Peter X Blanco, Nerded Up. That's his YouTube show that he helps host. YouTube.com/NerdItUpTV. Julian Titus, Nerds Without Pants podcast. Speaking of which,
No pants.
he's going to be on really soon too. I'm just testing the new laptop. It works good, so we're going to have him on as well. Pixelbit.com. The Nerd Without Pants podcast. That's it. Joshua Redding's got Tangent Break and Tangent Break is his podcast. I don't think that's on
Twilight Moon is his
Amazon.
books.
Twilight of Ages and Dawn of Darkness. Those are on Amazon. They're novels. You should go buy those because, hey, you should read other things other than comic books. No Place, Sam Shea, Talon Bray, and Peter Parker. He's using all that money he gets from J. Jonah Jameson to back us on Patreon. So thank you guys very
Look,
very
he's
much.
got Parker Industries now.
For
He's
your-
rolling.
He is rolling. You should back us at a higher level.
Oh, jeez.
Those are some of our high tier backers.
Here's Ryan.
Actually, those are all our high tier backers. Thank you guys very, very, very much for all the backers of this podcast.
Yes,
Every
we thank
month,
you guys. Appreciate
we
it.
love it, and we love everyone that backs us.
Yay.
Remember, pictures of your back.
All right, let's roll out of here. Roll out.
I was watching Girl Meets World. Why Grown Man watches that is a different story.
It's all grown men that watch that. Don't worry.
But they had a new teacher just show up on the as a literature teacher.
Yeah.
And the first thing she was teaching is Dark Knight Returns.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's like a full Dark Knight Returns episode.
Yes, on Disney Channel, they're talking about a DC comic.
yeah,
Because there's no comparable one in Marvel for them to go off.
If you were one of a handful of students at the, and now I'm blanking at the name of the school.
Does your mother work?
Yeah. At a school in Northern Virginia. You will be blessed with my beautiful face on Skype on Thursday because I am talking to a class at my mother's school about comic books.
Yay.
And
Take the laptop with you
Yeah,
tonight.
and I am. Yeah, they have like an art class, and part of their
See, perfect
is comic
segue.
books. Yeah. So yep. So I will be talking about with that class
Should
about
wear
comic
some
books, and
makeup while
hopefully
you're on
not ruining their lives.
No,
This
you're just gonna
podcast.
make a whole bunch of kids open their own comic book stores.
Yeah. One of the questions was because the teacher sent me a bunch of questions beforehand, and one of the questions was, "Did you go to a 4-year college before you opened?"
Oh, ouch!
And I'm going to be like, "How do I tell people you don't really need to go to college? You tell kids that like teachers get
you're never
mad.
going to be
No, you
speaking
can-
for your mother again.
The thing is you have to tell them there are many pathways to get to
Of
things.
course,
You don't
of
have to
course.
necessarily go to college.
Right.
You could go to trade school. You
Sure.
could go straight into the market and start working.
Sure.
that
Sometimes
wonderful
experiences, if you know what you want to do, experience can be better than school.
Cool.
iTunes, Geekbox.net, and ComicConspiracyPodcast.com. That's where you can find all our episodes. Please go listen to them. Rate and review. We always appreciate
Did
it.
he forget Good Job Brain?
No, you cannot find this podcast at GoodJobBrain.com.
Geekbox.net?
You can find this podcast at Geekbox.net.
Okay.
I don't think
And-
they post there anymore, do they?
And iTunes. What's that?
do they still post it on the Geekbox.net side?
This podcast?
No, the Good Job Brain.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They've grown up. They've moved out
Yeah,
of
Karen,
our
they're
network.
doing their thing. That book's coming out soon, too.
Yay!
Her book's coming out. Karen's sure Good Job Brain book.
Nice.
So that's coming out pretty soon. Yeah. Rate and review us, The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net, or use that contact form on Geekbox. You can send us some emails. We read those occasionally. Patreon.com /
What the hell is that?
Comic Conspiracy. Again, you could donate us some great money. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's where you can go buy all your digital comics. Go buy your Rebirth. Go sign up for. Bryce just texted me 5 times. Good old Bryce.
He must have felt a disturbance in the force.
Worse.
All right, here's a text from Bryce. Oh, it's podcast time. How the fuck are Gwenpool and Black Panther the top Marvel books? #fail. Thank you,
How
Bryce.
the fuck is he going to Caribbean?
Because Ryan posted the link for the April sales in the Facebook group,
Yeah,
and
so
he
you
went
can see
to it
Yeah.
and cheated and looked at the numbers.
Well, it's not on the podcast, so it's fine. You can cheat. If you do subscribe to digital, the Comixology Unlimited
through our
through us,
storefront.
I'd be curious to see what you think of it. It's no
Do
Marvel.
we
no
get a
DC.
percentage of it?
If they stay? Yeah.
Okay.
If they stay for X amount of months. I'll be curious what you think of it. The offerings are a bit on the low side right now, but they're going to ramp that up. Conspiratorbarock.com, that's Brock's blog and video pull list. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension, that's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Make sure you go check that out. And Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wonderful wife. That is her Etsy store. And she will be at Heroes and Villains this year.
Nice.
Next time she has a booth out there. So if you saw her last year or you wanted to check out something new, go see her at Heroes and Villains. I'll be in line getting autographs and spending all the money. Ryan Higgins Ryan, that's me. I'm on Twitter. Brock Sager is Brock Sager. Bryce Larson is Larson Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Add us all, please, and talk to us. Thank you. Geekbox Comedy Button. Good Job Brain. I'll Talk Podcast. Manga Nations. Those are all the various podcasts on our little network. Should listen to all those as well. Man, this podcast ran really long. We're almost 2 hours. We're going to go now. I'm going to go watch Arrow and then Flash. And maybe finish one of those episodes tonight. because I fall asleep when I try to watch TV. Goodbye, everyone.